Hello and welcome. In this video, I'll show you how you can utilize Ideogram and Canva to create awesome book covers. Now, in the past, we have basically talked about other software, but in this particular video, we're going to discuss the power of Ideogram. So first thing is first is I want you to go to this particular website. It's called Ideogram.ai. And the reason why we're going to be using Ideogram is, to put it simply, because of the fact that it can generate designs with pretty accurate text. To give you a perspective, you can see some of the designs right here. They're pretty much good with some text in them. For example, like this one right here. And you can even see here that somebody has created a stress management worksheet actually using Ideogram, and it looks pretty good, with, of course, some things that need to be edited. You can also check that, some other designs have text, but that's really, really good. For instance, this one could work pretty well on a wall art, okay? So this is really, really interesting. I think that this could sell pretty well. It's really eye-catchy. And I personally use Ideogram for my own creative purposes to create digital products, mainly for Etsy. Now here, in order to use Ideogram, you need to go to the Creations area. And you can also see that I have created a couple more things using Ideogram, mainly YouTube channel thumbnails. I use Ideogram to create them, digital products. When I talk digital products, I mean print-on-demand designs, wall art, pretty much anything you can imagine, stickers, and so on and so forth. Now, in this particular video, we're going to be interested in creating ebook cover designs, since this course is regarding Amazon self-publishing. And so therefore, I'm going to have to take an ebook cover as a exercise, or as an example. So if we go here to the search Amazon, here, let's look, for example, for Planet Mars novel. And let's check things out. Let's see. So here we have some Planet Mars ebooks, and, let's take something that's pretty cool. All right. We have this one right here. It's pretty good. I think that it would be more interesting if I were to copy this and then head straight to Google. And inside of Google, I can say Planet Mars ebook instead. And I can just look in the images that we have in Google, and I can pick something from there, because here is where we can really find out some pretty impressive covers. You have to remember that the size for a cover is 1,500 or 1,600 by 2,560. But here we see some really impressive designs. Now, because we don't really have all day here, we have to go with something. And so therefore, I want to pick something. So let's say, for example, that you like this one right here. Now, the only problem with this is that the cover is pretty, I would say, is pretty, it's not what I want it to be. It's not the exact same size, but I think that I'll still just go with it, just for the sake of the example. And then later on, if you want, you can change. All right, so I'm going to copy this for a second, and I'll go to Ideogram. So here, inside of Ideogram, I'll basically hit Control V, in which case this is going to paste this here. And then I'll hit the Remix button, all right? And after I hit the Remix button, you can see that that gives me a description, right? And it gives me a description of the image that I inputted. So one of the best things about Ideogram is the Remix feature, and it just describes an image perfectly. And what that enables you to do is you can actually use this prompt to generate something quite similar. Now, at first, I'm going to start at an image weight of around 40. And I'm going to click the remix just to see the results that we're going to get. And then what we could do as well is you could edit the text here. So for example, Mars, you can change it to Venus. You can actually change a couple of things, right, about the text. For instance, here, at the bottom, it says the bottom of the image has a label indicating it's a children's astronomy edition. Let's say that you don't want this, so you can just remove it from the prompt. As long as you keep the image weight under 50, because the image weight signifies the following, and I want you to pay careful attention. If the image weight is close to 100, what that means is that your image is going to be very close to the original image which you have inputted. If your image weight is lower than 50, then it will actually diverge from the initial result, and it will generate something pretty different. And in this case, we can hit the remix, okay? Now watch some results that came out. These are the results that came out, and they're looking pretty different. Not that different, but, pretty different, inspired by it. We've generated something entirely, it's pretty different. For example, this one right here is pretty good. If only people could read Mars, I think it's pretty difficult for them to read it. And now let's look at the second generated image, right? For example, here we have some really cool ones like this. This one is pretty cool. I like it. I think I'll take this one. So it says Mars. And, there's a pretty cool frame here that I really love, right? I love about this. And you can see that it's pretty cool. Everything about this is pretty cool. Now, let's say, for example, that you want to remove the image from there, and you just want to generate a ebook cover using only the text. You can do that, and you can even go as far as changing the size. Now, because it's 1,600 by 2,560, so that's pretty much close to 2 by 3. So I'll go for 2 by 3. It's not exactly the same size, but it's close. And then you can generate. In the meantime, remember that you also have access to Canva. So Canva can be quite useful if you want to correct some things. And also if you want to resize your designs and make sure that your designs are perfectly resized. And so let's go to canva.com and let's start the process. So Canva could take some time, so let me go back to Ideogram just in case, or just in order to give Canva some time to load. And here you can see that these designs that were generated as of now, they're pretty good for an ebook, but they look nothing like the ones that we've had earlier. They look, different, but not in a bad way, actually in a pretty good way, okay? And you also have to realize that you can use Auto if you want Ideogram to alternate or to actually use different models. Because Ideogram has general, realistic, design, 3D, anime. So if you want your design to be more design-like, you pick the design preset and you hit the generate button. And then it will go ahead and use that model. And here, I think that only one last thing you can do. Let's say, for example, you like the design. Let's say, let's say you like this one. But you want it to resize it. So here's the thing. You can actually go ahead and click the download button on this design. And then you can go back to Canva. So in Canva, if you click on create a design, you have to remember that with Canva, you can go for a custom size. And here, when it comes to the custom size that I will go for, and let me just check this out. It's not because I'm forgetting, but I just want to get this correctly. So Amazon ebook cover size, look, it's 1,600 by 2,560. Yeah, it's actually that. But I just wanted to check another time. In terms of the width, it's 1,600. In terms of the height, it's 2,560. And then I'll click on create a design. In which case, that should start the process and start the project for me. Now, I only want to use Canva for one purpose, which is to resize my design. And that's pretty much it. Because the design that we've inputted at the very beginning was a square resolution. Now, square resolutions for ebooks are quite good. But they work for Audible books. So if you're seeking to put your book on Amazon as an Audible, then that could work as a cover. But mostly, if you want to publish your book as an ebook, then you would need this particular size right here. I just had a sip of my coffee. So here we go. Now, basically, we have the image downloaded. So all I need to do now is to drag and drop it. And as you can see, this is, right, it shouldn't take that much time though. But Canva sometimes can be quite, quite stubborn. But here we go. Now, this is a pretty good. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to go ahead and increase the size of this. Now, I don't want to increase the size of it to a point where it's not, cool. Now the color is black, and that's the good thing about it is that all you need to do here is to click on the background right here and click the color, and then you can go here for plus. Click here on the color piquette and pick the color, and that's it. If you zoom in and see that there is anything that's not up to standard, then you can change one thing, which is just click here and background remove. That will isolate everything else. It will only keep the design, and that's pretty good as well. Now here, as far as this text is concerned, let's say you don't like this text at the bottom. You can go ahead and click on the edit button, and you can use the magic or the grab text option. And then you can basically grab this text that's at the bottom right here. Let's say you don't like it. And with the help of Canva Magic Studio, you can actually grab it out of the design, which, if you ask me, is a pretty cool thing. You can just go ahead and actually, if you don't want to remove it, you can say here, author, and you can put your author name. Now, I'll just make the author part a little bit bigger than that. And then here you can say, so in my case, I'm Ron Hemsa. So you can put your author name, and then you can actually make the author name a bit bigger. If you also would want, you can go to the spacing here, and you can add some letter spacing because you have to take a little bit more space than that. Yeah. And then you can put this right here. As far as the author name is concerned, is normally it should be put down below, but here I'll have to click this and I'll lock the position of it so that I can freely move the text downward. I could place it right there. I could also give it an increase in terms of the size a bit, and that's about it. If you want as well, you can remove the lock from here, and you can just play a little bit on the size of the planet Mars, and you can put it right there. And voila. I mean, we have a pretty, in my opinion, a pretty decent cover. If you want more creativity, you can go to Canva, for example. Let's say you want to add some splashes of stars to show people that this is space. You can go look for stars in Canva. And then here, in terms of the graphics, there's plenty of graphics that are, stars like these. And then you could just take them, position them right there, and position them to the very back. Then you can duplicate them. Then you could put some more here. Maybe you could flip the position horizontally. Maybe you could put them down here to the very back. Maybe that could give your image some good looks, or your cover some good looks. But these are not the only stars that exist, because you can actually use these as well. Only that the colors need to be changed to white in terms of black, or instead of black. And when as you change them, you can see there that that's changing, and that's giving the image a pretty good vibe. So you can play a little bit with the stars and stuff. But the thing is, this is not just about a book about Mars. The method that I've just taught you should normally allow you to create ebook covers about pretty much other types of book covers as well, or other types of books. It's not just about this. So don't look at the ebook cover that we're creating. Look at the method and look at how you can apply that to stand out. Hoping that you've enjoyed this video right here. And until then, I wish you the best of luck, and I'll see you in the next update.